Okay, good morning, everyone. I know many of you are still catching up the tide of the season. Many are still in their quarantine, preparing all the stuff they need to secure themselves in order not to get infected and be part of this pandemic scare. Good thing happened to Earth if we would just realize at some point. Many families get connected with each other again. Those busy husbands can now give quality time to serve their wives and their families. Our body would somehow receive a well deserved rest from the stressful toil of day to day tasks. Somehow, it became a blessing in disguise. And we are having different definitions for it. To some, value means usefulness. A certain thing adds value to us because of its usefulness. In the same way, somebody having a talent shared to us conveys a message how valuable they are for us. And as we share also our talent to them, by the same token, it adds value to them as well. Okay, another thing we see value as importance. When somebody gave us a very precious gift, we won't allow that very thing to be placed somewhere haphazardly. The least we could do is to find a place of great security for that very thing not to be lost. The same thing. The gold is a very valuable, precious thing. That is why it is being placed in a heavily guarded vault to avoid being stolen. Another meaning of value to some is price. There was a story of two old pairs of worn out rubber shoes. If you take a closer look, you will find that both of them had almost the same size and design. But surprisingly, they had different price attached to it. One price at $10, while the other one was a whooping $100,000. Instinctively, you would ask a big question. What made the prices of these two pairs of worn out rubber shoes different? Answer: the owner. The one labeled and priced $10 was owned by an ordinary person, while the other one is actually priced $100,000 was owned by Michael Jordan. This simply means your value is not determined by what you own, but who owned you. Another meaning of value to some is actually cost. Sometimes we are amazed by some heroic acts of some people in history. We were amazed by some people like Martin Luther, Mahatma Gandhi, and Mother Teresa. Those heroic acts they did not come by a single stroke of magic wand. Their heroic acts are painful and costly. That is the value of their doings. When it comes to leadership, an eagle is the best picture that many people are using. An eagle is an iconic figure being used by many Christians as an illustration to show a vivid example of characteristics that we Christians need to follow. We like the attitude of an eagle having the guts to soar above the storms. Added to that is its ability to have telescopic vision. When an eagle flew as high as 8 miles and an eagle is seeing another bird flying in the same altitude, that is a guarantee that they are also an eagle. Those manifested characteristics of an eagle conveyed their value. Let's talk about the vulture. A vulture attitude would shock many. A committee of vultures would feast on dead carcasses. They feast on dirty, rotten meat of dead animals. Many so-called followers of Jesus, if not fanatics, are doing the same thing. They focus on things that are trivial and unnecessary, like talking about issues, gossip, slander, backbiting, all rotten stuff in the church. Gossip separates close friends. Gossip betrays confidence. And gossip is motive oriented. There is a motive behind every gossip, spreading all around. As Abraham Lincoln once said, big people, they talk about ideas. Medium people, they talk about an event. But small people, they talk about people. Those things diminish your value. You are an eagle, not a vulture. Appreciate and depreciate. Appreciate is when the value of something goes up. while depreciate is when the value of something goes down. We bought gold and land at a certain time. Their value would appreciate. But if you bought car and house, time will come, their value would depreciate. John Maxwell once said, the most appreciable asset in the company is the people. Machines would depreciate, building would depreciate, but those people in the company keep appreciating. In the same way, once you keep appreciating what they are doing, you are taking notice of their value. You are highlighting their significance. Let me tell you, value begets value. The very reason why many of us are sick and worn out, simply because we forgot one thing. We forgot to love ourselves. We forgot to give ourselves a well-deserved value. When you value yourself, you will naturally attract the people who are also giving value to themselves. In neurolinguistic programming or NLP, whatever is not similar is negative. Even in psychology, we tend to be attractive to those people similar to us. Like attracts like. Things attached to value. Number one, honor. We honor what we value, and we value what we honor. The definition of honoring for us like value is relative. We first encounter probably the word from one of the commandments, honor your father and mother, or in the word palabra de honor. Taking the original meaning of this word honor in the Bible came from the Greek word time, which means value. And the other word is acknowledging the word. Seeing ourselves with honor, we are seeing ourselves not a worthless nobody, but a worthwhile somebody. Honor is not to be demanded. It is given naturally. It is not to be demanded from people like what King Saul did. It is given in the same way that it was given to David. What motivates us to honor? Having known this truth, God crowned us with honor and glory. Our motivation to honor goes beyond the former motive. We honor because God is honorable and you are honorable. About the word dishonoring. Likewise, definition of dishonoring has to be understood as well. The word dishonor came from the Greek word atime, which means treating something or someone ordinary. Revival in the church dies down once these two things manifested. One is pride, and the other one is familiarity. Stephen Fortake once said in his preaching, the enemy of faith is not fear, but familiarity. Why? Because when familiarity enters the church, it kills the sense of expectancy. It kills the sense of urgency. It kills the excitement. Again, if somebody or something seems familiar and treated ordinarily, in essence, we are dishonoring them. Okay, let's talk about noble and ignoble purpose. The fire of trials, sufferings, and persecutions reveals what materials we are made of. When we are buying shoes, we choose to buy the original rather than the imitation, to guarantee its durability. That durability can only be noticed through the test of time. In our lives as Christians, we are being confronted by many problems. But like what I say, they are all designed for us to know what materials we are made of. In the Bible, in 1 Corinthians verse 12 to 13, if anyone builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, their work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each person's work. If you are wood and hay, you can only be used to make a nipa hut. When fire comes, you can easily be burned up, meaning your materials is just for ignoble purpose. But if you are gold, silver, and precious stones, you are for noble purpose. Your materials are for palace where can be touched by the king. It is a great privilege to be used by the king. Let's talk about valuing God. If you value God, one thing for sure, you will value what He values. Each person on this planet is so valuable in the eyes of our Maker. Our real value is derived from the ultimate source, which is God. And since God values us so much, we will also value those people who are also of great value to Him. Let's talk about the truth about us. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10 says, we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. In other translation, we are God's handiwork. We are indeed the work of His hands. And we are God's masterpiece. You are the obra maestra of God. I went in a certain mall and saw a beautiful exhibit of different paintings. As I beheld and being wowed by the creative geniuses manifested in their artworks, the first thing I look for is the one who painted them. And indeed, it led me to one realization. The glory of the Creator is being reflected from His creation. His creation is in essence the piece of the Master. If you would just realize, we were created in the image and likeness of the Triune God. The Imago Dei. Image has something to do with character, attributes, personality, and quality. Image has something to do with being. On the other hand, likeness has something to do with talents, skills, geniuses, creativity, and workmanship. If image has something to do with being, likeness has something to do with doing. We have the piece of our Master's being and doing. We are His masterpiece. Another word attached to the word value is the word price. What makes the Ferrari and Lamborghini so pricey? Their prices correspond to the value that these two cars have been giving to the owner. Both cars are so fast and so classy. Aside from being luxurious, it could also be considered as a status symbol to some. Cars speak. Luxury cars speak louder. Let's talk about the gold. Bear in mind that gold will not be taken from the dirt to make it gold. Whether the dirt is there or not, it is already gold. It is already valuable. Again, Jesus died on the cross not to make us valuable. He died on the cross because we are valuable. Another thing attached to value is the word excellence. Many churches across the globe are really putting so much effort to beautify their place of worship simply because of one noble purpose: to put excellence as they are worshiping God. Therefore, we can see excellent facade of their church building, excellent musical instruments, excellent worship team. Everything is excellent. One thing which is common to all the churches that is so elusive for them to get into excellence: relationship. Indeed, across America, some researchers said 95% of the church problem is not the lack of vision or tithes and offering or the worship team. The whooping 95% problem in the church is relationship. John Maxwell once said, people leave people, not the company. Probably you wondered why somebody get out from their company knowing that they are part of the multinational company, have a high position, and with lofty incentives. What is the reason? Relationship. Many could not take anymore their cursing superiors whenever they commit mistakes. Many co-employees around are doing company politics to each other. In the same scenario, people leave the people, not the church. They love Jesus. They were amazed at how the church orchestrated their worship. They like the ambience of the church place. One thing they can't tolerate: bad relationship. Why is this happening? The simple answer is that inside the company, church, or any other organization, they failed to put value on one another. Many people would leave simply because they are no longer felt valued. Excellence is not perfectionism. Excellence is a mindset. In the end, I would like to highlight this one thing. Our value is not based on things that we own, but on the one who owns us. Remember, man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possession. Why don't we just come to